Yashodanandana Radheshyamdasdevotionalvideos. Yashodanandana Radheshyamdasdevotionalvideos. Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama. श्री राधा मदन मोहन की, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री श्री गौर निताई की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की, कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Hare Krishna. Yesterday I began one topic on nature, enjoyer and consciousnness. That was yesterday's morning topic, and today I am continuing that and completing. It's a part of the SM syllabus, self-manager course syllabus. So in this, the topic number 5. See, Prakriti, Purusha and Purushottama. So that I already finished first part of it. Totally, each of these lectures are 90 minutes lectures. So 45 minutes yesterday I did, and today I'll do 45 minutes. And today I'm only doing 6 to 7 now, 6:15 to 7 today. 7 o'clock I'll be leaving to temple. Today His Grace Radheshyam was giving lectures. I want to join that. Prabhupada, Prakriti, Purusha and Purushottama. So yesterday we recited some of these verses. You see, we will recite 2-3 verses and then immediately go to the last section of this chapter. Okay? Please repeat after me. Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajñayor jnanam yattad jnanam matam mama. See, in the previous first 2 verses, yesterday we read that Krishna says, Idam shariram kaunteya, kshetram ityabhidiyate. This body is called as kshetra. When he says this body, it is mentioned there that the kshetra means the 5 gross elements, the 3 subtle elements, senses, and the sense objects. And all these things put together is called kshetra, including the sense objects which we process with our senses. So all these things are put together called as kshetra. And then you are the knower of kshetra in this body, kshetra body. So you are called a kshetra jna. So yesterday, in summary, I heard that online many were hearing. Any of you joined that? Yeah? Already there? Yesterday, okay. So you know this last point that I was making yesterday was that the Kshetrajna, who is the knower of the field, he is seated in a particular field which he can understand it is conducive or not conducive for Krishna consciousness. You can know it after some period of time, once you acquire some knowledge submissively. Then you can also change your kshetra also, I said. Then I gave many examples. Ajamila, degraded Ajamila became saintly Ajamila. Degraded Mrigari became saintly Mrigari. In one lifetime only they changed. It's not that changing the kshetra means you leave this body and then you take one more body. In the very same life also, one can modify one's kshetra. From an unfavorable kshetra to a favorable kshetra. Correct, no? Which facilitates and favors you to advance swiftly in spiritual life. You can place yourself strategically. Yesterday only I came to know, our Professor Gajendra was telling, there was one devotee who is in one unit here, is getting some salary now, and is quite happy and satisfied in Sangareddy. Now the company told him that now you have spent about 5 years with us, we are very satisfied with you. We can give you a promotion, but for that you have to go to Hyderabad. And location is like almost 1.5 hours from here. If you go, then you will get another 10,000 more. Or if you want to continue here, we are already very happy with you, can continue here. Either way, we are happy. If you go there, you get 10,000 more. If you are here, you will get the same. So that devotee said, I am going to be here only. Siddhulu Prabhu. He said, I am going to be here only, he said. Why? Because he is playing a very major role in congregation development and Sangareddy here. There are only 2 pillars of the program, assisting Gajendra Prabhu. So he said, I want to stay here. I am not going. Now what this living entity has done in this body? He has restrained his desire. He has restrained his desire for enjoyment and said no to the material opportunities that presented themselves in front of him. Uh, and by so doing, he has made his field favorable for spiritual advancement. Here he is blessing the deity, he is giving class, taking care of the center, bringing grocery, bringing flowers, and practically is running like a temple now. Uh, and all the congregation depends on him for cooking prasad also. Many things he does. One man show, many, many things. Now if he goes to Hyderabad, the company will give him quarters somewhere and he will earn a little bigger salary, a little more comfort, and all the service is gone, opportunity. And he'll be single there. So he said, no, I prefer to continue on. So here is a real lively example I'm telling you how you can make your field favorable for your advancement in Krishna consciousness. But that requires restraining your, certain base desires, material desires. Uh, and how did he get that strength to say no to the offer and continue here? In the association of devotees, gaining knowledge of the Guru Parampara wisdom which is coming down, and performance of sincere sadhana, attracting the glance of Krishna and grace of Vaishnavas. In this way, one will get the strength to uh, choose one's field of activities. Hmm. What do I want to process and what do I don't want to process? So in this way, and when another student was asking yesterday another question, that Prabhu, you said that Mrigari and Ratnakar and Ajamila, these people could, give up their previous circumstances and situations and field, and then, adopt a holy field later on. I also told the example of one devotee who went from slum to, this thing. So this boy was asking, just as you say we can change our field and become more spiritual, in the same manner, is it possible that materially also I am a mediocre student, I can become extraordinary student? Is it possible? Can I change the field? According to Bhagavad Gita, definitely it's possible to some degree, not to a very appreciable degree. For example, you can work on certain aspects in your life by which you can improve materially also. Say, for example, somebody is not an outstanding performer in a company, but he can do certain things. For example, he can be punctual. He can be hardworking. He can be cooperative and friendly with his team members. He can submit the work before deadline. And he can put aside his false ego and be friendly with the boss, cooperate with the boss. And he is non-political. It's simple. So these are all certain qualities which attract the uh, company to give him promotion and things like that, correct? No? These are certain things one can do, make an effort. So somebody may think, okay, let me find out if I cannot excel in my work because I don't have the punya karma with which I don't have that type of intellect and the mindset and thing to do that. Let me do these things to improve my material life, correct? No? People endeavor that, correct? People try. So these are called like situational leadership, we call it. Like a tortoise cannot win over a rabbit. But the tortoise has one special ability to float in water. So it can keep the goal ahead of the river. So that the tortoise and rabbit, when they go, rabbit will naturally get ahead. But when the river comes, rabbit is stuck. He can't go ahead. But tortoise can reach the goal. So this example is given that in certain fields, material fields, you have expertise, identify them, and then flourish in that area. We call it situational leadership. But one very important thing should be told along with this. The goal of the jiva is not to improve in his material life and make some material adjustment to enhance his material enjoyment. Don't make material adjustment for enhancing material enjoyment. This is very much strongly advocated in the Shastra. Because if you make material adjustment to gain more material enjoyment, it is like going from C class jail to B class jail. Or going from B class jail to A class jail. For example, Somebody is in a jail. Now they put him in, earlier he was breaking stones. Now he is put in charge of library or doing some farming inside the jail. They do such things, lighter work than the previous work. He may be very happy. Oh, last 2 years in the jail, I was suffering so terribly. Now my jail life is a little more better. That is not a very great thing. Why is not a great thing? Why? Huh? He's in jail only, yeah. Huh? Like if I tell you, hey, you want iron handcuff or a silver handcuff or a golden handcuff? So one old man in the lecture said, Swamiji, go, golden handcuff is best. He said, out of the three. His wife, old wife was sitting next to him. She just patted him and said, why do you want any handcuff? Tell him free. You want to be free. No handcuff. So, intelligent thief means you should say, I want to get out of the jail. Not that I go from a C class jail to B class jail or B class jail to A class jail. So, when you try to make mental adjustments in this world to increase your mental enjoyment, and very expertly, very smartly, people adjust their material life, like they place themselves in such a manner that the material life will be better and better. This world, the whole world is about that. If you see, making material adjustment. Oh, washing clothes is painful, then get a washing machine. Grinder is painful, get a, you know, electric grinder. Yeah, and also, going by this regular road is becoming very difficult. Make a ring road. You can escape the traffic of this thing, like this. And also, uh, now people have, now we have the chat GPT, which can actually consolidate things and give you any topic you want. You can be lazy with your intelligence, also can be lazy, not only physically lazy. Earlier man was physically lazy, now he's intellectually lazy also. He doesn't want to use his intelligence to synthesize, to process, to categorize, to analyze, to observe, to compare, contrast. He doesn't want to do anything. He tells ChatGPT, you do it for me, so that I can be a dull head. I never use. Earlier there was physical laziness, now there is intelligent laziness also. Like we have used logarithmic table in our college days. Once the calculator came, all those tables were thrown out of the window. You ask a boy, "Hey, how much is 2 plus 3? Wait a minute, calculator. 2 plus 3 equal to, okay, 5, he will say. For small, small things also. Yeah. The world has become like that. So, then the jiva becomes thoroughly tamagudi. Thoroughly tamagudi means lethargic. Lethargic to the core. Physically, mentally, emotionally. One becomes like a machine. It's with, like you see, I was just thinking the difference between a machine and a living entity right now. What is the main difference? Like, we were sitting behind in the car, in the front seat, we took the laptop and you put it. As soon as you put the laptop, it started giving sound. Because if somebody is sitting in the front, they are supposed to put belt, seat belt. So then the driver said, okay, Projay, you don't need to put the seat belt. So he took the seat belt and put it from behind and put it. And I kept quiet. Because for car, it is immaterial. Any weight comes on the seat, immediately it has to make sound. Correct, no? He doesn't care whether you keep a laptop bag or you sit there. Huh? So that is the meaning of a machine. Machine doesn't have any common sense. It just made the sound. Then after he put the belt like that, it's keeping quiet. That is another type of foolishness. Because he has not put the belt properly. Still the machine accepted it. So this is dull-headed machine. Correct or not, isn't it? In the same manner, if somebody is going in a car, the driver is driving, he's sitting next to him, you tell him to put the belt, he puts belt from behind and then puts it in order to satisfy the machine which is making sound. So he is also as dull as the machine. Why? Because he doesn't know the belt is kept actually for your life safety. My Guru Maharaj used to be very strict about this. He has chastised many devotees who don't put the belt when they're sitting in the front. Because people have died also without putting the belt. The belt is designed in such a way that In heavy accidents, it will give a certain effect by which your face will not be smashed. Like that. So, but if somebody thinks I'm more smarter, and then you put the belt from behind and put it, that means you are not following the rules. Like one time, two of our boys were going for follow. So one boy said, Prabhu, better take the helmet, both of us. He said, hey, in that road, police doesn't watch, he was telling. Huh? So are you putting the helmet only for the police watching? Huh? Or you are putting it for your safety? Yeah, if you're putting it for your safety and you follow the rule, then you are a human being. Huh? And if you don't follow because police is not watching, then how are you different from the machine? You understand, no? Therefore, Jivan api mrito hi saha. Bhagavatam says like that. Huh? That means some people are called living dead. Huh? Living dead means they cheat the people around in this world, not knowing the laws of God are all the time, 24/7, watching from the top. The 12 Sakshis are there. You see? Here is the main point. People who try to adjust to material life, make mental adjustment for expanding mental enjoyment. Huh? They are simply like living dead, according to the Srimad Bhagavatam, because they are only considering material pleasures. They are not thinking about liberating the spirit from matter. The goal of human form of life is to liberate spirit from matter and to awaken love for God. These are the goals in human form of life. If you don't do these two things, then we are not much different from the robots and other machines. We are just like them. We can. It may be a little painful for some people if you call them living dead, but that's what Bhagavatam says. Nekayat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirtapada sevaya jivanapi mrito hi saha. It says, if a person is doing his karma, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, that karma should lead him to dharma. Varnashrama dharma. One should follow. Dharma means what? Brahmana should do his dharma. Kshatriya should do his dharma. They should not become Brahma Bandhu or a Chatra Bandhu. One should do the dharma. And then the dharma should lead to what? Vairagya, he says. Like Janak Maharaj is doing dharma as a king properly, by Nishkama Karma Yoga is doing. Immediately develop detachment and awakening of knowledge. Na viragaya kalpate. Then tirthapada sevaya. And once develops detachment from matter, attachment to devotees of God, then tirthapada sevaya, you serve the devotees of the Lord. And the result is you awaken love for God. Like that. So all this come in steps, one by one. But if I'm a machine, then I don't make any progress. Dead only. Machine is dead. So as a human being, I can be dead also. Why many boys come and go and don't make any progress? Because they live like a machine. They don't invest their consciousness in their speech, in their action, in their life activities. So, like for example, you're going to the bathroom, you're washing a cloth. You washed your clothes and the bucket is full of soap water, dirty soap water. You put your clothes and you go your way. You ask a fellow, hey, Prabhu, you didn't throw away this water? No. No. Why you didn't throw it? Next, whoever wants the bucket, he will throw it. Just think about it. So this is a lack of consciousness. The animals actually, even animals sometimes are superior in that sense. They do the work properly. Animals stick to a lot of their things. So as a human being, therefore, before you become Krishna conscious, you have to be conscious first. Then you can become Krishna conscious. When we say real consciousness is Krishna consciousness, but at preliminary level of consciousness is to think what I am doing. How does it affect the next person? My spiritual master used to say, when you go to any place to stay, while leaving, he will clean that place. So that it is as nice as it was before, as they made it for him, so they can use it well. So he used to tell us, in your absence, you produce emotions in the minds of people. Like for example, in the train once I opened the door of the bathroom. Somebody has passed a big quantity of stool and left it as it is. They didn't throw water. So as soon as you see it, it causes pain to us. Correct, no? And also immediately your mind curses the fellow who did that. Correct, no? That means he won't earn one person's curse. If 20 people watch the bathroom, they didn't use it. He gets how many curses? 20 curses. Then how will he advance in his life? One should even think about that. You act in such a way that you will draw the blessings of others. Correct, no? Yeah. Imagine another time I went into the bathroom, I saw one fellow had left his soap there. One piece of soap, half the soap he had left it there because there was no soap water. He thought that people may need to use soap after using the lavatory. So somebody is trying to do some favor to the other living entities. Somebody is trying to, you know, create a headache for the other living entities in a very dead manner. He doesn't think. Somehow or other, the brain doesn't act. It becomes like a stone. Doesn't think. So therefore, changing the field requires investing some consciousness. But investing consciousness not for improving material life. Improving material life, there are alert people, smart people, super smart people in this world now. Sales people, oh, what all they can do. They can sell even a refrigerator to Eskimo also. There are very, very smart salesmen. You can send them to the poles. In the poles, even in IC region, they can sell a refrigerator. But they invest so much time and energy in market survey and scanning and all that they do. So that is useless intelligence, because that doesn't help you liberate the soul from matter and send the soul back to God. So, can we change material life appreciably? There is only one way. If God thinks that He should modify your current material life, He can do it in a moment. Like that fruit vendor lady gave some fruits to Krishna wholeheartedly, and Krishna filled her basket with, you know, gold and diamond and silver and everything. She must have given probably 2 rupees fruits, and Krishna gave her 20 lakhs worth. Things. Same thing Krishna did with Sudama also. In a moment, Krishna can, change somebody's material destiny also, if he wants. So therefore, if everything is control is in Krishna's hands, then why not go to Krishna? For material advancement or spiritual advancement. So there is a famous verse. Agama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whether you have all material desires, or you have no material desires, or you have desires for attaining powers, siddhis, or mukti or whatever, go only to Krishna and worship him intensely, it says. So here this verse says, in the same body there are two souls, as you see in the picture. And there is soul, and by his side there is super soul. Both are called kshetrajna. One kshetrajna is only in his own body, whereas other kshetrajna is in all the body. Sarva kshetriyeshu bharata, is saying. Like a king allots 1,000 acres to 1,000 farmers. And he is owner of all the fields, but the individual farmer is owner of only his own field. Secondary owner. Tenant, we can say. Like we are tenant in a flat, like that. And then the king gives them seeds as they want, whatever they want. Some farmer want to sow neem trees, some want to sow mango trees. And then later on they will eat the fruits. That time they will realize that some fruits are bitter and some are sweet. Punya Papa is done by the jiva in the field of the body that is given to him. So here the difference between soul and super soul is given here. You know, if you see here, the soul is called Jivatma. It's Anu, 1 ton the tip of the hair. He's conscious only of his own body. He's only secondary proprietor and secondary controller of his senses. He's fallible and he's subordinate, loving servitor. And there are plural living entities, isn't it? On the other hand, if you see super soul, he's a maintainer. He is infinite. There is another verse which says, Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwaraha, Paramatmedi Chapyukto, Dehesmin, Purushapara. That verse says, Upadrashta means director, Anumanta, Anumati, means permitter, sanctioner. Bharta means maintainer. Bhokta, the supreme enjoyer. Maha Ishwaraha means great controller, supreme controller. Paramatmeti Chapyukto, he is called as Paramatma. Dehesmin, Purusha Paraha. It's a transcendental Purusha. And we are conditioned to Purusha in this body. So he is a super soul. Vibhu is infinitely powerful. He is conscious of everyone and everything. He is supreme proprietor of all the bodies. And he is the supreme controller of all senses. Rishikesha. He is the master of all the senses. Like in a company, for example, when you join as a GT, you are given little access. When you become a team lead, more access. When you become a project manager, even more access, right now. You become a CEO. In CEO also, there are sometimes, in the top level, it's a board of directors also, correct now? Like that. But then if you are unit head, number one man, you have complete access. Correct, no? So Supersoul is like that. He has access to everybody. Huh? Every living entity and every atom also. He has complete access in the entire world. Yamaraj, he has only access to the sinful living entities. Huh? And Indra, he is giving rain shower to the living entities. He has some access. Everybody has some access. Huh? But Supreme Lord has access to everyone and everything. Huh? And he is in the heart of every living entity and within every atom. There's only one super soul, one super soul. Yeah. So, yeah, Purusha uh, is the enjoyer of nature. This Purusha is not the Supreme Lord, the living entity who is the imitation Purusha. He is trying to imitate the Supreme Lord. Just like when I went to Ahmedabad, I saw there was one father and son. I asked father, "What's your name?" He said, "Patel." I asked son, "What is your name?" "Patel." Both are Patel. Huh? Patel. Son is also, "I'm also Patel." Oh, but then they said, "It's Master Patel. It's a junior Patel." Huh? But he's a senior Patel, Father Patel. So now the father Patel can drive the horse, but the small Patel cannot drive a horse. He's a small kid. If he sits on the back of the horse will gallop and overthrow him upside down. He will come down head first, body above, and he will break his head. Huh? So therefore, one should know we can't do what Super Soul can do. But you are trying to imitate him, demanding a horse. Then the father gives a wooden horse. Huh? So therefore, Krishna has given us the wooden horse of the material body through the material nature. So the tiny Purusha, so-called Purusha, is trying to enjoy the Prakriti. The Ishvara controls both. Yeah. Takshetram yaccha yadrikcha yad vikari yatascha yat sachayo yat prabhavascha tat samasena me shrunu. So he's elaborating. If you see here, see he's saying, see best way to understand, see just understand this Bhagavad Gita. Okay, here he's saying the influence of the knower explained in the that is a jnanam and gnayam, explained in 14 to 18. Let us begin with this one. Okay, how the body is constituted. Hmm? And the 6 and 7 explains elaborately all those 5 gross elements, you know, 3 subtle elements and the 5 senses and 5 sense objects and the working senses, all that are explained, put together called the field. What changes the body undergoes, that is explained in 7 and 20. We all know the changes undergone in the body, how and when, where the body is produced. So in this way, these are explaining more detail about the field of activity and knower of activity, which I am not getting into. Because Arjuna asked this question, how this body is constituted, what materials the body is made up of, 24 elements, correct, no? Under whose control the body is working? Super soul is controlling, and the subordinate controller is our jiva. How and where from the changes are taking place? What are the cause and reasons? What is the ultimate goal and form of the individual? What distinction between soul and super soul? Arjuna asked brilliant questions, and Krishna is answering all those questions. Yeah. And then the 5th verse talks about authority of the Rishis Krishna quotes. Yeah. See, Kshetra is here. Anamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. The living entity is Vijnanamaya. Once he knows I am not the body, I am the soul. Jnanamaya. And the Supreme Lord is Anandamaya, Supreme Knower. Kshetrajna. So this is the field of activities explained here. So Dashayakam. And the 5 knowledge occurring senses, 5 working senses, the mind, buddhi, everything is put in one slide. The complete field of activity for us. That's what is explained here. Mahabhutani, Ahankaro, Indrani, Dashayakam. That is shown in the picture already. So, okay, now I'm going to show you the other one. Let us directly go to this one. Mm. about Purusha, Prakriti and Purushottama. See, the soul and the Supersoul. The soul is a tiny Purusha, correct? Na? Imitation Purusha. And Krishna is a supreme Purusha, or Purushottama is called. So, the Vijnana, knowledge contains knowledge of Jnayam, means the soul and supersoul knowledge should be there properly. Uh, and the Kshetra, the field of activities. And the Jnanam is the method of knowing. There are 20 methods given in between the verses 13, the chapter 8 to 12. In that Amanitum Adamvitvam, that thing. So they are actually the ways by which you can know the Jnayam. Jnanam is the way by which you can know Jnayam. For example, most important thing in the 13th chapter 8 to 12 verses is two aspects. One is Acharya Upasana. Another one is Mayicha Ananya Yogena Bhaktir Abhyabhicharani. So bhakti for Krishna and service to Acharya, these two things will take care of all other things, even if you have deficiency. Even if you lack in any of the other qualities, not a serious issue. But if you lack in these two things, then it's like missing the soul. So those two are very important. That other things can easily follow. Even if somebody has deficiency, somebody is not so detached, is little attached. But then he goes to Acharya, Acharya will knock out his attachments. Very easily. Prabhupada did that with so many people, isn't it? Vivikta Desha Sevitvam, Maratirjana Samsadi, or it says, what is that? He's, Putrada Grihadishu, from family and job, and people have attachment. Those things can be easily overcome. Once a person is sheltered in the lotus feet of an Acharya and faithfully practicing Bhakti Yoga. So in this way, through the process of Jnanam, one can know the Jnayam, and the Kshetra already was spoken before. You see, the moon their foolish thought is, ultimate stage is that these three items become one. They think like that. That is their own misconception. But the real knowledge means when one understands Krishna consciousness, one sees that there is always individuality. For example, when you see the ocean water, it appears like homogeneous. But even in that, if you take in a microscopic level, there is H2O, two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. They have individuality. But even in that, if you go to every atom, further there are details. You will see there is nucleus and there is a rotating electron. If you go into nucleus, yesterday we were watching the cosmic eye, when you go further and further, the more you go deeper into atoms, still there are details. Further and further and further, details are there, which means it continues to be personal, whether you go in the microscopic level or macroscopic level. The personality is never destroyed. It's always there. So one shouldn't think everything becomes homogeneous. Yeah. Yeah. Here you see Krishna answers the question 1 and 2, Prakriti Purusha and their union. Let us see the verse. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaramsha Gunamsh Chaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. See, material nature and the living entities both are eternal. See, matter is not temporary. Matter is eternal. But the manifestation of matter is temporary. Like, for example, 8.4 million species bodies, if you see, these bodies are temporary bodies. Right? No? Like a potter, for example, has a huge quantity of clay from which he takes, and then he does like this in the wheel, rotating wheel, and then he makes pots. And then later on, some child may pick up a pot and break it. Again, it becomes sand. So the pots are temporary, but the clay is always there. Yeah, just like in your teacher must have given you in your school days this China clay. You seen that? Somebody makes a tiger, somebody makes a lion, somebody makes elephant, somebody makes human being. Different people make different animals and everything. When that period is over, she will say, all of you return back now. Everybody puts together and gives. Then again, a big quantity of China clay again. So that is like Pradhan. Pradhan is eternal. But the manifestations from Pradhan in the form of Prakriti and Mahatattva and all the different bodies of the living entities and the big buildings, cars, you know, all these infrastructures and everything. The formations, they are temporary. That's why the material nature and living entities are eternal. So the material, these things are discussed in these verses. If you see, living entity, material nature are eternal. Although specific manifestations of matter are temporary. That's what I told you now. Living entity is eternal because of being Lord's superior energy. And uh, and the difference is what? Material nature, there is constant transformation. For example, yesterday also I was telling in that lecture, somebody when they are very beautiful, you are very charmed. Hmm. But then later on, somebody becomes fat, then no more charm is there. Somebody is healthy, you are charmed. Somebody is sick, coughing, mucus, vomiting, oh, you don't like it. You don't like to see them in that form. Similarly, somebody is young and cute and good looking, but then when they become very old and invalid and tooth are gone, you know, the strength of the body is gone. These are transformations. And 6 transformations happen in a living body. We can see that in this world. Actually, Kala changes everything in this world. Like jet black hair becomes white hair. People's bodies change, situations change. And Earth's crust also is constantly changed. Do you know that? Uh, it keeps with the rotating of the Earth. You will see that actually similarly you can see the trees have greenery. Another season the trees are shaven completely. What do you call that? Patjad. Correct, na? They're gone. 4 seasons keep changing. Uh, and the Satya Treta Dwapara Kuli keeps on rotating. Time is also changing. And the qualities of people are also changing from Satya decline in Treta, Dwapara, Kali, and then Kali and Kalki Avatara comes, finishes, and then again comes. So the time keeps changing. So everything is in a flux in this material world. One interesting thing, when all these things are changing, we can also change positively. That means a person is not permanently labeled as a degraded, useless, good for nothing fellow. Permanently. Yeah, a sinner can become a saintly soul. Therefore, it is said, every saint had a past, every sinner has a future. It is said. Who is a sinner who has a future? Mrigari is a sinner, then he had eventually a bright future. Like Ajamila, he also was a sinner. He had a very bright future, isn't it? Similarly, every saint had a past. If you see, Vilumangal's the poems are appreciated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so much. But he had a bad past, but then he became a great saintly soul later on. So in this way, that is another good thing. That means we can bring about a change. A soft iron core can be changed into gold by alchemy solution. So alchemy solution is like the holy name. When you dip yourself in the holy name, you can become a transformed soul, transformed person. So the nature of the living entity that is non-changing is what? We are Sachidananda Swarupam. That is never changed. When the soul comes to this world, is wrapped by mind and body, the changes are happening where? In the mind and body. Huh? Like for example, mind has impurities. Dhruva Maharaj came with impurity in the mind. But then after seeing Lord Vishnu, the impurities got cleansed. So the mind got changed. Impure mind became pure mind. Your cruel Mrigari became compassionate Mrigari. Crying Arjuna became confident Arjuna. Arrogant Rahugana became humble Rahugana. You can see like that. So in this way, that heart transformation we say that happens in the mind, and then the gross body also that keeps changing. We can visibly see it also. So transformations are happening, but the soul, Sachidananda Swarupam, remains as it is. There is no change in that. One thing we may be said, the soul's attitude, for example, can be favorable to Krishna or it can be away from unfavorable to Krishna. Correct? No? But that is a part of the free will. The free will is only 2 things: either be favorable to Lord and look towards Him, or look away from Him. As soon as you decide to look away from Him, the mind and body comes immediately. Chit becomes chitta. The chit is pure consciousness. Turn away from Krishna with the intent to enjoy independently. As soon as you desire that, chit becomes chitta, contaminated consciousness. With that contaminated consciousness, the glow of the soul becomes dim. And that is the time the mind which wraps the body, that impurities, uh, soul doesn't have any impurity. Soul can only have a Just like a child can be naughty and say that I won't cooperate with parents, correct? Now, as soon as it thinks like that, then the facility is given for the soul. Okay, if you don't want to align with the Lord, then what do you want to do? And then the soul says, I'll find out. Then he encounters Maya. Krishna Bulia says, Jeev, then comes Bhogavancha Kare. Then Nikata Maya Tare. Then only he encounters Maya. Till then he has not even seen Maya. People ask how there can be Maya in spiritual world. Spiritual world, there is no Maya. So there's only one thing, your choice. Choice to serve him, choice to be away from him. When you decide to be away from him, then you encounter Maya on the way. And then the Maya, at that time, the mind which envelops you stores the independent desire that you want to enjoy. And then Maya becomes attractive that time. And then one enters into three gunas after that. So all these changes happen in the body. The three gunas are subjecting the mind to changes, transformations like that. Like a person in Sataguna is very mild and very friendly and cooperative and everything. As soon as he goes to passion, he doesn't cooperate. He fights, quarrels, there is friction and heat in the relationships. That means the mind, somebody who was good can become bad, somebody who is bad can become good. Correct? Huh? These changes happen. And the material nature is absorbed in Supreme Lord, Mahavishnu, and whenever required, it is manifested through the Mahatattva. The living entity also gets absorbed in Mahavishnu, and with the change, with the coming of the material nature, they are again given chance to prepare to go back to Godhead or again be reborn. In this way, rotation happens. Due to rebellious nature, uh, why the eternal living entity falls to the material but rebellious nature? It really does not matter how we came in contact with matter. Supreme Lord knows how and why this took place. He's talking about the Krishna says in Gita, Icha Dvesha Samuthena Dvandva Mohena Bharata. He says, Icha and Dvesh, desire and hate. Desire to enjoy and hate to surrender. That is the cause. So in this way, these are all explained. See here, highlighted portion you can see. Know for certain that Maya, Prakriti, and Jiva are both without an origin, having no first cause. So before this, the cosmos was manifested in both material and living entity existed. That means even before the material world is created, both matter was existing and Jiva was existing. Both are eternal. That's what he's saying like that. Yeah, the body, senses, and other elements and transformations of the gunas, such as happiness, distress, lamentation, are all arising from Prakriti, not the Jiva. Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktritve Hetu Ruchite. Sorry, Prakriti Hetu Ruchite, and then, sorry, that's the second line I'm saying. The first line is Karya Karana Kartrutve. Hetu Prakriti Uchite. Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktritve Hetu Ruchite. It said that the distress, lamentation, illusion, happiness, all these things arise from Prakriti, not the Jiva. The Jiva is Sachidananda Swarupam, covered by the mind. In the mind, the three gunas are acting. So if you have Sukha, Dukkha, Manapama, and Shita, Ushna, who is causing it? The Prakriti is causing it in the mind. In the mind and ego. But the Jiva is inside, aloof from these things. He's saying, why do we know? Why do we need to know this? Because, see, pain is compulsory, but suffering is an option, it is said. For example, when something painful stimuli comes in somebody's life, do you think all people respond in the same manner? No, everybody responds differently. Huh? There are different people who take the same pain which comes in life differently. Some people, for small pain, they make a big reaction. Ayo, Amma, because they have been pampered like anything in their life, from childhood. For small, small things, they'll make a big issue. The other day, I remember one of the trains we were going, the whole bogie got loaded with people. Sometimes you see that, correct? No? People are lying all over like this. And imagine if somebody has been born in a family where he has been going by flight always. Even that brahmacharis also have been going by flights even before joining ISKCON. The family is a rich family. They fly all over the world. And now they join ISKCON, and then imagine you're going in a second class bogie. Just think about it. And that too in the morning you find all people lying. He doesn't know how to reach the washroom. Then I showed that what you have to keep one leg here, one leg here. I got to fly practically above. He was shocked, how can you do this? He's not used to it. So if you are pampered, then that appears like, it's the biggest misery in your life. Huh? Is it not true? Huh? So that is why, imagine if you are sleeping in this chatai all your life, tomorrow you get married, your father-in-law gives you a gaddi. Huh? Not a big gaddi, but a thin gaddi he gives. You will be very grateful for that. But imagine you are sleeping in a 1 feet thick gaddi right now. Huh? Later on, he gives you a thin gaddi. You criticize. When you go from more comfort to less comfort, you criticize. When you go from no comfort to little comfort, you are grateful. You understand? No? So, why did I say this? That means the whole problem is with our mind, how you respond to the pain around you. Huh? Great souls, they use the pain as a springboard to surrender to Krishna more and more, just like Kunti Maharani or Vidura, all of them like that. They don't blame the pain at all. Like, for example, Shringi cursed Parikshit. Parikshit didn't curse back. Hmm. Saubari cursed Garuda. Garuda didn't curse back. Hmm. And Prahlad Maharaj was tormented by his father, tortured by his father. He not only not troubled the father back or cursed father, rather he prayed for the welfare of his father. Huh? So you cannot. There are people who may say, I tolerate. There are people who not only tolerate, they even pray for the welfare of those who are hurting them. Even Jesus did that. Jesus had, when Jesus was crucified on the cross, you know, on either side there were two more crosses. There were, see, if your hands are nailed to the cross, your feet is also nailed to the cross, you have to be there without water, without food, and then you leave the body, correct, no? Like that. So there were two more fellows. One thief was ridiculing Jesus. He said, hey, you preached about God, just see, this is what you have to suffer. Ha ha ha. Like that he was laughing. And Jesus said, oh Lord, he does not know what he is speaking. Please forgive him. He prayed for the forgiveness of a person who is a ignoramus, who is an offender. He prayed for him. And then this fellow on this side, he said, oh Lord Jesus. He said, I am a sinner. I committed so many sins for which I am put on the cross. Now that I am going to die without food or water here, I don't know what is my fate. Will the Father in heaven forgive me? He asked. Jesus immediately said, oh Father, please accept this living being. He prayed for him also. So you will find Haridas Thakur, when they were sentries were beating him. He was telling the Lord that, please kindly save them from the reactions they will suffer because of beating me. He was not thinking about how much paining it is for me. He was actually praying for their this thing. In this way, the pain is compulsory in this world based on our karmic reactions, but suffering or not suffering is an option. Yeah. So all transformations and variety in respect to living entities due to the body. As far as spirit is concerned, living entities are all the same. All living entities are one in quality, whether it's in a jiva is in a woman's body or a man's body. Actually, that's why you have to observe the life. For example, there are boys who want to dress in a certain way to show off, correct? No? There are girls also who want to show off. Similarly, there are boys who are sense gratifiers who want to eat 10 gulab jams or 12 gulab jams. And there are girls also like that. They also have a desire to propensity to enjoy. There are boys who want to catch the limelight and be in the front and show off. There are girls also like that. Ultimately, you should see them as a living entity trying to show off. And then you will see there is no difference between man and woman. The jiva in the body of a man and jiva in the body of a woman is same type of jiva. Only the external bodily appearances are different. Animal or bird or anything like that. You will see that. Everybody in this world, you can see they are trying to gratify their senses, expand their happiness, and minimize their suffering. All jivas are trying. Atyantika sukha pravritti, atyantika dukkha nivritti. We call it like that. Vedanta Sutta says that. So they are trying to do that. And then the intelligent jivas neither enjoy nor give up. They know one thing, that everything belongs to Lord. I should connect everything to Lord rather than enjoy them or renounce them. They do neither. They are the ones who attain the perfection. See, initially, a person is uh, completely absorbed in matter, abhinivesh. And then gradually he comes to the point of understanding, I am not the body, I am spirit soul. He understands. Hmm. Then after he becomes a jnani, then he becomes a bhakta. You can see he develops love for Krishna. He becomes, so Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Brahman understanding is, I am not the body, I am spirit soul. And the Jiva thinks, I am only God, he thinks. But after he comes to Paramatma realization, understands, I am not God. God is Paramatma and I am Jivatma. God is Parabrahman and I am Brahman. And then when it comes to Bhagavan realization, then his love for God awakens to such a degree that he cannot just be watching God, he wants to serve God. He develops a desire. Like your mother, father, they are not just watching you and saying, Beta, you are so nice. You are so, what's so nice? They serve also. Mother is cooking for you, feeding you, putting your socks and putting your shoes, putting uniform and dressing you to send you to school. She's rendering service. So Bhakti Yoga means to render service. Paramatma Vadi means he's just admiring the Lord, our Lord's greatness. But at least he's knowing that Lord is great. And Brahmavadi doesn't even know that. He thinks, I'm only God. He thinks like that. You see, Bhakta always feels, I am in the lotus feet of God. And he thinks, as soon as you go to any temple, you see, here is lotus feet of Krishna. Let me find out how I can serve him. Yeah. Karya karana kartrutve hetu prakritiruchyate purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve hetu ruchyate. Yeah. See, cause happiness and distress. Okay. Karya karana kartatva hetu prakriti. Material nature is the cause of all material cause and effects. Already told you. Yeah. Different manifestations of the body and senses among living entities are due to material nature, supplying these materials. Material world is a place of struggles. Provides different residential quarters. Like here you see, it's a place of struggle. What is this? Jivo jivasya jivanam. So material world is a place of struggle. You see? Purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve heturuchite. Living entity undergoes happiness and distress due to tendency for enjoyment. This is the reason. When I have a bhogavrati, then I get both. I get sukha and dukkha I get. If I, to the degree we can give up this bhogavrati and adopt sevavrati, we'll be very happy even in this bodily machine. Even while seated in this. Living entity in is spiritual in nature. It's nothing to do with the activities of the material world. Due to its tendency to lord it over material world, it identifies with the activities in the material world. For a simple example, I'll tell you. You see in the train or in the airport, they have a smoking area. People are sitting and smoking. That causes trouble to them. Even if somebody is sitting there, it causes trouble to others also. And the cigarette is not something which is necessary for the living entity. Correct, no? There are so many people who never smoke and they are happy. But living entity unnecessarily thinks that I need this. This is called as unnecessity. Correct, no? Similarly, liquor. Similarly, drugs. Similarly, a man is married to a woman, he is not satisfied, he want to go for few other women for enjoyment. Again, that's unnecessity. In this way, the living entity increases his suffering by his mischievous activities in this world. The super soul always accompanies the soul in all the bodies to guide him. Only he has to accept that guidance. Yeah. So the different manifestations are explained here. And similarly, this how it's a place of struggle is explained here also. Past, the living entity gets a body according to the past desire and the activities that he did in the past. Past desire and activity decide one's residential quarters. Correct, no? For example, you like an independent bungalow to live, but you may not have the money to pay the rent. Then you go for a row house, or you go for a 3 BHK, or go for a 2 BHK, depending on your ability to pay. By the law of nature, once a body is attained, one comes under the laws of nature and behaves as a dog or a hog or a demigod. Correct, no? Like that. So this is the point. According to your past desires, you stored in the mind at the time of dying in the last body. And what activities you did and accrued punya or pap. Based on that, you are given the next body. Like that you're saying. Yeah, these are covered now already. Yeah. This way, by misidentification, the jiva keeps on taking bodies, one after another. Yeah. See, once he gets a body, he has to act according to the laws of the body. He cannot change, Prabhupada says. Living entity is put in a dog's body. Wow, wow, he has to go bark. Huh? He's put in a dog's body, he has to eat stool. But Supersoul, being merciful, is present with him in all the bodies. He goes with him, even when he's in the body of a pig or even in the body of a worm, also he goes to guide him and gradually bring him to other things. Purusha Prakritisto hi bhungte Prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasatyo janmasu. You see, the desire to enjoy forges the bond between Purusha and Prakriti. That living entity is bound in this material body and he wants to enjoy. That's called false ego. So the three gunas are always acting on us. If you come to Sattva you have more freedom to exercise your choice. But in Tamoguna, practically zero choice. We are practically kicked and whipped, and it's like your hands and legs are tied. You can't do anything. In Rajoguna, you have little freedom, but in Sattva you have abundant freedom. That's the reason in our movement, Prabhupada instituted all this, four relative principles and rising early in the morning and performing artis, chanting japa and hearing. These things increase your sattva. Then you have a lot of command over your mind and senses in what direction you want to lead them. Yeah. So association with the material nature leads to different good and evil among species. On one hand, the three gunas are dictating you depending on which guna you choose. You only choose the guna. You remember in the earlier lectures I told you there are first floor, second floor, third floor. In the first floor, there is a permit room and beer bar and cabaret dance and everything going on. All people are completely dull-headed and eating drugs and intoxication, everything. Second floor, what is there? Gym is there. People are doing treadmill and shaping the body, and there's a beauty parlor and all that. Isn't it? And the third floor, what is there? Yoga studio and some ISKCON temple. So when the living entity looks at such a building, he's going to choose where to go. Correct? No? So you're choosing the guna, tamaguna, rajaguna, or sattaguna. You go there and you get more and more of it. Accordingly, you get the results. Correct? No? Yeah. What is the binding factor in the bodies? In all the bodies, we think I'm the master of my. We are actually the master of circumstances in one sense. Why? Because you choose. You choose the gunas. You choose your future bodies. Therefore, the word is utkram. That Ishvara is used. Shariram yadavapnoti yachap utkramat Ishvaraha. Word is used. Yeah. Yeah. So the last box is the most important box. Here you can see this. I'll show you. Krishna consciousness helps one to rise above the three gunas, but here you see what is said here. By hearing from authoritative sources, how hearing works? If living entity submits to hearing process, he loses his long cherished desire to dominate. Gradually and proportionately, he comes to enjoy spiritual happiness. This is the secret of the lecture today. The whole, whatever I spoke today, in essence, this is the essence. As soon as one becomes learned in association with Supreme Personality of Godhead, he proportionally relishes eternal blissful life. He comes to enjoy Amritatvam, Amrita life. And he gives up his propensity for lording over. We become Trinada Pishunichana by becoming truly learned. Hmm? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we will conclude here. My car is ready now. Says, yeah, submissive hearing process, Prabhupada says. Long cherished desire to enjoy will be gone. So this is already told you. Upadishta Hanumanta, Bharta, Bhakta, Maheshwara. Paramatma. His name is Paramatma. Paramatma, Jivatma differences mentioned here. The one who understands the philosophy concerning these three things, the material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature. And Krishna says, you are sure to attain liberation, he says, which we have learned just now. What is material nature and what is living jiva, and how the interaction of modes of nature happens. That's why he's teaching this. Actually, the last 6 chapters helps you to become liberated, and the middle 6 chapters teach you what to do in the liberated position. So now somebody may say, already Krishna told Bhakti Yoga, how to act in liberated position. What is the need of telling how to become liberated? No, if you don't become liberated, you can't practice Bhakti Yoga properly. We will always be defeated by material nature. Therefore, he's using the 6 chapters to teach us. Yeah. Okay, I think we will conclude here, I think. So there are only 2, 3 more verses. You can read it yourself. Many important things are over. Huh? Vital things, Purusha, Prakriti, and Purushottama. We have discussed. If you had any questions, you are welcome to write to me or give it to Pramod Prabhu. Will send me. Huh? I can answer them also.
Hare Krishna.
Bhaki.
Radheshyam Koji. Although 9:40 secretary program, when we came to come here.